Boom! We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your boy Nolan Hawkeye Anthony here, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic week wherever you may be and however you may be listening. I got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be checking out recent Iowa tight end commit Addison Ostrega. I believe that's how you say his last name. We're going to be checking out his highlights, his recruiting rankings, and just give you an overall overview, if you will, of what the Iowa Hawkeyes are getting with this commitment. And I got to tell you right off the bat, I am very excited about this. But before we get into that, I want to mention going to 247hawkeye.com. And I really hope you consider hitting that subscribe button. It really means a lot when you do that, especially for someone like myself who lives in California, and I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan through and through. But if you don't want to subscribe, I hope you at least consider commenting, sharing, and liking the video. Again, it's a way for me to keep in contact with Iowa fans. The subscription means a little bit more. I'm just kidding. But either way, it means a lot. And two more things. I do have a link with the PayPal if you want to help out that way. That's great. If not, no big deal. And last but not least, be sure to listen to the NHA podcast, dropped every Wednesday. You guys can find it on this YouTube channel as well as any of the major sites for podcasts. All right, let's get into Addison Ostrega and check out what this is all about. Right off the bat, I think it is important to discuss the state of Iowa Hawkeye recruiting. And I think I've done this a few times, and so I don't want to get into it too far, but it's important to note that one of Iowa's best recruiting tools is the culture. It is Iowa City, one of the top 10 party schools in America. And, you know, speaking for myself, the Division I water polo guy talking about football and hoops, Iowa City is as good as it gets. It is phenomenal. And not just Iowa City in that regard, but the game atmosphere. And Iowa was really lacking in that last year because of the situation. And so because of that, Iowa, and Kirk Ferentz actually said this, Iowa is not as far along with certain guys compared to other years where they would be at the same point in time. So, and then the second point I want to make is with Iowa recruiting, last year is not the norm. I believe Iowa should always have a top 40 class at minimum. But that is not the norm, what we saw last year with the top 25 recruiting class. So most of the time, Iowa goes after developmental guys that they can take and mold into a phenomenal football player. That is more usual than what we saw last year. That is not letting Iowa off the hook, because I am not okay with them losing to Iowa State, for in-state recruits. I'm not okay with them losing to Illinois, but we will dive more into that on the NHA podcast. For this one, let's take a look at a commit that Iowa did receive. And like I said, folks, I am excited about this guy. So here is Addison's 247 Sports webpage or profile, if you will, and he's graded at an 83. And I've said to you guys many times that for me, the rankings, they do bear themselves out if you look at how Clemson does and in recruiting, and then how they end up doing. So they don't completely mean nothing. But when I look at a profile and I look at highlights, I don't want to be biased by the rankings or anything like that. I want to look at the film and the measurements and decide on what I believe this particular recruit is bringing to the table. Now, with this specific guy, And let's just get into it. Tight end is a phenomenal position for Iowa. And to be honest, if I was a tight end and I had an offer from Iowa, honestly, I would be almost all in on that. If you become a starter at Iowa at tight end, you can almost guarantee you're going to be going to the NFL or be given a shot at the NFL. But the tight end position is just a fun one in general. It is a really, really cool position. Guys that are athletic enough to play on the outside, but also physical enough to block on the inside, which is something that Iowa most certainly asked their tight ends to do. Now, with Addison, he was actually committed to Iowa to play baseball. And if you've noticed one trend with Iowa football recruiting, they love multiple sport athletes. And I do as well. I think if that is one piece of advice I could give to parents or young athletes out there, it would be to play multiple sports. It really helps you in general, cross training, getting your muscles to where they can be. It is really important. And for me, when I see a guy like this who is Division I level at both baseball and football, that is massive, because that shows that this guy is a pure athlete. It is hard enough to be a Division I athlete in one sport, let alone two. That is a big, big deal. And so that is the first thing that I wanted to kind of highlight and say is a very big positive when it comes to this commitment. All right, it's time for the measurements. Addison checks in at 6'5". I do think I saw somewhere that he checks in about 6'4", but for me, anything above 6'3", you're golden. Obviously, if you can come in at a legit 6'5", 6'6", that's also great. But anything above 6'3", look at George Kittle, he's about 6'3", it is fine. He comes in at 220 pounds. And going back to my previous statement, with him being a Division I athlete in two sports, if this guy is good enough to be a Division I caliber guy, when he is giving a lot of his time to another sport, think how good he can become putting all of his time into one sport. So that is very, very important. He checks in at 220 pounds, and I did message him on Instagram, and he was, kind enough to get back to me. And I appreciate that, Addison. Thank you very much. And he told me he runs about a 4.8 40. I believe he said that he has not been tested yet, by any of these camps or things like that. But he said that he feels confident that he runs about a 4.8 40 and has about a 32-inch vertical leap, which that's all you need right there. Because at the end of the day, the University of Iowa is going to get exactly what your athleticism is capable of. They will find a way to reach that potential at the end of the day. I don't have a subscription to some of these baseball recruiting sites, but I did want to show some of the numbers on the baseball side, because I do think that is really, really important. And it looks like he has a 6.96 60-yard dash, which is pretty good, very good actually. And it looks like this 97.62, I don't know if that means he is in the 97th percentile or what there, but either way, 97.62 is a really, really good number, and he should be very pleased with that. And I was curious about one thing. When I saw one of the stories, it looked as though he chose football over baseball. And when Iowa offered him, I thought that he was going to consider playing both, and he might still. I don't know. I don't see Obviously, I don't know everything that is behind the scenes, but football and baseball are in very, very different parts of the season. It's not like Connor McCaffrey, where it is basketball and then the baseball season is starting at the tail end of basketball. I think his name was Samardzija, the guy from Notre Dame. There's been a few guys that have played multiple sports, but if Addison wants to and feels better with just focusing purely on football, then I totally back that and I totally understand that. But I would be curious to know if the baseball side of it is completely out of the question now, or if maybe I read it wrong. I'm not sure. It is also important to note that this is Iowa's third recruit out of the state of Wisconsin in this 2022 recruiting class. And it is important to be able to go into states like Wisconsin and snag really talented guys. I thought that Iowa was going to get a different Wisconsin guy, but it worked out this way, and it's all good. It's all good, baby. And so that is what it is. The reality is Iowa has missed on some guys in the state of Iowa that they offered, and so they've had to go elsewhere for some of their talent. By the way, if you want, I do have some other evaluation videos. Pretty much every recruit has given a retweet. I have, for the Wisconsin guys, I have a video on Jack Dotzler and Jada Montgomery. Montgomery gave me a retweet, so I appreciate that, dude. But you guys can find it in the YouTube channel that you are watching right now. But on the Wisconsin front, Iowa is in contention for one more guy out of Wisconsin. When it's all said and done, they may go get another one. I'm not sure. But they have 3 guys out of the state of Wisconsin, more guys than they have out of the state of Iowa. And that is very important to note. And as I've said before, when Tim Polasek went into Wisconsin to start recruiting, I thought it was a futile plan. I did not think it was going to work. But Iowa has continued to pound that recruiting trail. And quite frankly, they've done very well in the state of Wisconsin. All right, guys, we're going to take a look at the highlights really quick. I'm not sure I understand the composite ranking here. The composite ranking, if you don't know, is it is an accumulation of all the recruiting sites. And to the best of my knowledge, the only recruiting site that actively has Addison ranked is 247 Sports. And so I'm not really sure I understand that, how he can be compositely ranked, but it is what it is. Here are some other schools that were interested in his services: Wisconsin, Minnesota, Northern Iowa, but ultimately Iowa pulled the trigger. And listen, folks, Brian Ferentz is either the first or second best tight end coach in the country, okay? Not just the Big Ten. He probably is the best tight end coach in the Big Ten, but in the entire country, he's definitely top 3. And like I have already said, if you can become a starter at Iowa at tight end, you can pretty much guarantee that you will have a spot on an NFL roster, at the very least be given an opportunity, and you have a good chance of being drafted as well, which is really, really cool. I am having somewhat of a difficult time seeing this. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this is a little bit better. See if I can. They like running the slant over there. Here he is on the outside. Well done shedding the block there. We're going to see him in some coverage, which is important to see, guys. You know, most first, second, dang, wow. He blew that dude up. Woo! We got to watch that again. Okay, here we go. Here we go. He's going to tear this dude up. Oh, man. Man, that was an excellent. That's a Division I athlete right there, guys. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. You know, that's a varsity athlete in high school who just literally looked like 5 years younger than Addison. And honestly, he's probably older. You know, Addison is probably only a sophomore or junior in these clips. He's very physical. I'll say that. I will say that. There's a lot of tight ends, these days who, let's be honest, are, think of themselves more so as wide receivers than actual tight ends. And at Iowa, that will not cut it. Noah Fant, one of the most athletic tight ends you will ever see, was still required to block. It's just how it is, guys. That's just how it is. And honestly, it works out better that way in the long run. Every Iowa guy that moves forward, the biggest thing that is tagged along with them is they can do it all. Couple things, very physical. The highlights I'm seeing, he's very physical and he has excellent ball skills. Excellent ball skills. And, I've said this in a couple of videos. I guarantee you, he is not even close to being fully in his grown man's body. And, this is already what he is capable of. And there is still so much room to improve. Wow. Very big catch radius as well. Very big catch radius. Yeah, he seems to be pretty sure-handed. He would have been an excellent water polo player, I'll tell you that. 6'5" is perfect in water polo. I'm not saying he is not, he doesn't have good agility, but that is something he will probably work on. And again, it's more so that he is not fully in his grown man's body. And when he is, those fast twitch muscles will really start to fire. And so it's not a concern of mine. But, for me, I can still see with his 6'5" frame, there's still a lot of explosion left to get to. So, well, there you guys have it. I did want to show this as well, just to show some extra tape. And, it's good to show the frame. And, sometimes football highlights, they don't really show how athletic a guy is, as opposed to being up close. So here we go. He's got a perfect tight end frame. I'll say that right off the bat. I mean, the dude's thighs are massive. Yeah, he's every bit 6'5". He is every bit 6'5". Man, that's a fluid swing if I ever saw one. Are you sure you're not going to play baseball, dude? Dang. Yeah, you don't see fields like this in California. You just don't. I mean, you'll see one every once in a while, but most of the fields are outside because it doesn't snow over here or in much of California. That's a freaking laser. Wow. Yeah, he would have been an excellent water polo player. Look at that laser beam. That's enough. There you guys have it officially. I'm very happy with the film that we did see. I think that this is a classic Iowa pickup. A guy that I see, absolutely not only improving from now until his first day on campus. And as I already said, once he puts all of his focus into football, imagine if this is what he is now with that much extra time on the training aspect and the fundamentals of football. Imagine how much better he can become. I know from my own experience. I did baseball, water polo, basketball, and swim. And when I got to college in water polo, when all of the time went into that, my body just transformed completely. And you can start lasering in on what it takes to be tops in that sports. And I have no doubt that is what will happen for him. I would not be shocked in the least if he has a massive senior season and rises up the recruiting ranks. It is pretty remarkable that the state of Wisconsin has 3 Big Ten or Power 5 caliber tight ends. But I got to say, folks, I'm very excited about this. The top thing for me is that he is a multiple sport athlete. I think that is phenomenal. That shows he's willing to work, do what it takes to become a top tier athlete. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. I really hope you guys consider smashing that subscribe button. We're already almost up to 60 subscribers in only about a month. So I really, really appreciate it. If you don't want to subscribe for whatever reason, if you can just like, comment, and share the video, that would be great. As I've said, living in California, it's a way for me to stay in communication with you guys. And thus far, I've been able to talk with some amazing people, which has been really, really awesome. Be sure to go to 247hawkeye.com. Also, if you want to support the channel, there is a PayPal that you guys can click in the description. Last but not least, the NHA podcast is every Wednesday. You guys can find it on the YouTube channel and on SoundCloud, Anchor, the whole 9 yards. Links will be in the description. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. And facts over feelings, because your feelings don't matter. Go Hawks. Love y'all. Bye.